I'm Ted Keys in Pasadena, California. Welcome to my Tuesday conference call, a free high-powered meeting I hold live every Tuesday for top producing freight agents. Go to tedkeysonline.com for complete call information. Then join us weekly to see new, serious, struggling, and experienced sales professionals move more freight efficiently, effectively, effortlessly, and make more money financially. So watch my recorded call topic highlighted there on your screen right now. When you're finished, go to tedkeysonline.com and hear more podcasts. Read more blog posts, watch more videos, and while you're there, visit my Freight Sales Success Store for top-notch freight moving products to explode your business today. Enjoy watching and applying my Tuesday conference call.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the call today on this Tuesday, to my Tuesday conference call. As you all know from the announcement that I sent out earlier, I've got a LDI super agent on the call today. Now, I know that Levi Bennett here has not been with LDI long. Is that correct, Levi?
That's correct. I think it's just about 6 months now.
6 months now. Okay,
yeah.
Wonderful. Levi, can you just give us a little indication? First of all, tell us how old you are. Tell us a little bit about your family. Tell us a little bit how you got into the freight industry and how long you've been brokering freight up to this point.
Yeah, I mean, I love talking about myself, so that's fine.
Absolutely. We want to know all about you.
Well,
because typically it's about them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Really get the chance to talk about myself. 27 years old, and I've been a broker for about 4 years. I kind of fell into brokering. I was actually a chef for about 10 years, and it just kind of fell into place. I had a friend who was a broker, asked me to come in one day and check it out. And I go in this office, and, it's a pretty large office, about 40 people, but it's got dartboards on the wall, there's flat screen TVs, guys are drinking beer, probably not supposed to do that, but, at that point I was just pretty much sold. All these people sitting around having fun, talking on the phone, making money,
Were any of them successful?
Yes. Actually, like 2 of them actually are with LDI now, so.
Okay.
We've all kind of switched over. So, no, it's a pretty successful office, but, that's the one good thing about this job is you're an independent business owner, so you get to do, whatever you want. You can take a break if you want to. You can have as much fun as you want to or have as little fun as you want to. So I try to apply that with my work. You got to have fun. If you don't like talking to people, then what else are you going to do? I mean,
this isn't going to work, is it?
No.
If like you and I were talking right now, if we don't learn the skills to communicate with the outside world, our probability of success will not be that great.
That's correct.
Okay. So you said you were a chef for 10 years. Where at, Levi?
In North Carolina, just a couple restaurants here and there, fine dining, but
okay.
The skills that I learned there kind of apply to freight brokering. It's a fast-paced industry. You have to be efficient, detail-oriented, so on and so forth. And those things actually, I found, gave me a better edge when it comes to freight brokering. So.
Okay. You said earlier you've been an agent for 4 years. Is that correct?
That's correct. I was at a larger brokerage for first 3 years of my career. So.
Okay. And when you first started, Levi, just go back into your memory bank when you first started off. Now, I'm assuming that when you started, you were going to an office every day.
That's correct. I actually worked 3 jobs, so I wasn't there all the time, but I worked from home as well. So.
What was it like when you first started as a green agent?
It was rough. The company I was with didn't have a training process at all. It was just kind of, they throw you in the fire, so to speak. So it's kind of if either you hit the ground running or that was it. So it was rough. The first two calls were a struggle. Definitely embarrassed
So
a few times,
no freight guide, no sales guide, no conference calls, none of that good stuff.
I mean, it's really just getting on the phone and pounding out. I wasn't used to doing cold calls. I wasn't used to speaking to, random people. So I kind of looked at it, it's kind of like working out. You pick up the phone, it's just another rep. You're getting better and better. So, there's not a whole lot to lose other than your dignity. But if you can swallow your pride, there's no problem talking to random people and just building that skill. So, like you said, you got to practice every day. So.
So basically, what you're describing is not. You're describing everybody's initial struggles or challenges coming into this profession.
Well, yeah.
I mean, so basically, you didn't have it easy or easier than the rest of us.
Well, when I was at that office, you could see other people. They would get very frustrated. They wouldn't do all the calls. They'd sit around and watch TV or play on Facebook. So, continuing to do it was the advantage I had, I guess. So as time went on, at the first couple of weeks, I started getting customers, started pulling in loads, started getting confidence, and at that point, it was just as much as I could do. Constantly working on my off time, pulling in leads, and when I get to the office, just stay on the phone all day. So it really helped hone my skills.
Gotcha. What I mean, where did that work eventually take you? I mean, at what? Let me ask you this: at what point did you feel like your feeling was, what, I'm getting this?
Yeah. So
after a week,
I was pretty hesitant.
After a month,
I think it was about 2 or 3 months I started making enough money where I was making more money doing this part-time versus cooking or whatever else I was doing full-time. At that point, it was pretty obvious to me that this is the way to go. There's no ceiling. Like you said, everybody starts from the bottom. So,
but like you said, Levi, you felt like you were gaining success, or you had this feeling like, what, I'm getting this. You feel it took like 3 months.
Yeah, it was about 2 to 3 months. So,
and I'm assuming that was constant calling or constantly connecting with the marketplace. Or should I assume that you were watching TV and playing basketball like the rest of the guys?
No, it was constant touch. Touching every lead, touching every customer as much as possible. Self-education.
Got it. I would think that you walk into an office. First of all, you got all this distractions with people anyway, but then you got TV screens all over the wall. Oh my goodness! Whose decision was to put those up? Isn't the idea for people to get on the phone?
To a point, but you're not going to come through well on the phone if you're not happy. If you're not in a good mood, if you're not excited. So, sitting in a quiet office in these little cubes, it's kind of hard to be inspired.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Do you operate with any type of system in place, Levi?
Referring to what?
Do you have a certain number of calls that you require your staff to make per day to be successful? Anything like that? Do you give them a sales script to utilize?
Yeah. So.
Go ahead.
Give me just a moment. Give me just 1 second. I'm sorry. Hold on. I apologize. It was my customers. Yeah, I like to think of it as everybody as a clean slate. So when they come on, I want to give them as much information as possible. From day one, they feel like they're a part of this process. Because it is a process with the whole training getting someone up on their feet in this industry. So, I don't do a call script. A couple things. I think marketing is highly underutilized in this industry. To me, it's a lot of perception. So what that customer sees and how they perceive you as a broker, as a person, as whatever, is is pretty important. So there's no need in a call script. I like to kind of introduce myself with, you have to build their trust. So, that first impression is important. So you have high quality, you have dedication, you have transparency, education, technology, all this good stuff. But you have to present that to them in a way that, is not going to make it seem like you know too much. You want to be on the same plane as these people. You want them to see you as an equal. So it really just depends on the situation. I like to use a call. I call it a build-a-call. Each call should have these certain parts. Your intro where you hit your value proposition so they can, gain interest. The first 15 seconds is very important. So I like to have 2 or 3 different lines that I can plug into each section. The intro, the value statement, the questions I'm trying to ask from them, and then how to get an opportunity out of them. Because every call is not going to go the same.
Can you give us an example? Can you give us an example of an intro that you might use, or do you base it solely on, what the feedback of your prospect first?
Well, I like to think about the type of industry that prospect is in, because that's going to dictate, their values and what they need from a freight broker. So say if it was an extremely large company that, has tons of facilities across the U.S., I'd like to put myself in a position where they can equate me with some part of my competition. You don't want to compare yourselves, but it's a good way to gain their trust immediately. LDI is a smaller, newer company, but, when you compare it to C.H. Robinson, BNSF, whoever, it gives you that immediate trust factor from them. Like you said, when your sub-agents are calling your reviving accounts, all they have to do is drop that name. As soon as they hear that name, it's a lot easier. It's a warm call at that point. It's not a cold call. So I like to dictate it, based on the customer. If I was to call, like a medical supply company, someone needs their their equipment or supplies fast, they need it transparent, they need it, clean service, I'd call them and say, hey, this is Levi Bennett, give my name, my value statement. I'd like to equate in the first 15 seconds that I'm going to hit those values that they want. We're owned by a very successful software development company. That adds to our competitive edge. We can provide services that other brokers can't. And then immediately you'll get their attention. If you don't get their attention in that first 15 seconds, you have lost them. You think about when you get a sales call on your own phone, the first 15 seconds, you're evaluating that person, judging whether or not you even want to continue this conversation.
I got not to get off track, but I got a call today from a freight recruiter. And this guy, I won't say who it was, but this guy said, yeah, I'm following up. One of our gals called you 16 months ago. One of our gals called you 16 months ago. And I'm sitting there like, what do you want me to say? And he goes, you don't remember the call? And I even said to him, 16 months ago? And I just got to the point, are you trying to recruit me? And I don't even remember what I said, but I ended up hanging up the phone shortly thereafter. I mean, he had no value coming into the call. All he wanted to do was get me to see if I remembered a call from somebody else 16 months ago. But yeah, absolutely no value. And that's what I teach our folks here, and that is when you go into a call, I mean, there are so many different ways to do it, but when you go into the call, make sure you say something where they can relate to it right away. And by doing that gives you your value right away. The value is you've done some research. instead of, hi, I'm Ted, I'm with LDI, what are you moving today? Excellent point. So yeah, just by mentioning something that you know what they do, what they're all about, that increases your value mark tremendously. Would you agree with that? Would you disagree?
I agree. It's definitely a portion of this industry that is ignored. The nature of their transportation is going to depend on the end user of that freight. So if the end user of that freight is cheap, makes boxes, makes packing peanuts, whatever, it's not high priority, they're probably going to want to save some money on it. Versus, medical supplies, fertilizer, car parts, things of that nature. That end user is really what's going to dictate their values.
Is that what you move, Eli? Are those the industries that you're attracted to?
Yeah, I like freight that is high quality and high volume. So, people like to differentiate between the two. But I'm a high volume guy, I move a lot of cheap stuff, or, I move OD, I move 4 loads a week, but, it's very difficult. And I'm of the opinion, why not have both? So there's a couple, it's a niche market. It takes some research for sure. So.
When you started in these markets, or you started pursuing these markets, Levi, did you pursue them because that's what you felt comfortable with, or did you just happen to end up there?
So in the beginning, I was pretty random.
Are you a farm boy?
No. I'm from North Carolina, but my dad's from Jersey, so I don't know anything about corn or soy. So.
Okay.
But at first, really what I did was I just took every industry I could and just broke it down. I would go for the biggest ones, right off the bat, at least get their information, and I'd start with the smaller ones and work my way up. But like I said, you still have to play to that industry, that end user.
When you started with any of these industries, did you start off with these lucrative loads that you're enjoying now?
No, they definitely. It's hard to build that trust for the large accounts. These corporate guys, I like to call them pencil pushers. It's a terrible name, but they're real by the book. So, it's a process to get set up with these companies. It'll take 2, 3, 4 years just to start getting freight out of these guys because, there's the RFP, there's getting the trust, so on and so forth. So when you first start out with these larger companies, it's grinding. You're taking these $75 margins on $1,200 loads. You're hitting 8%. But as you start getting the trust, you show them the quality of your work. They'll start giving you the good stuff.
And we all start at 8%ers. and chances are you did a load in the last week that was at 8%.
I took a $400 loss today. So.
Oh, Levi, boy. And you know what? Explain why you took a $400 loss.
I like to say it comes out in the wash. Whether it comes out, in another load's profit, or if it just comes out in more trust from your customer, it's worth it in the end.
But do you start off with a first load at a $400 loss?
It depends on the opportunity you see ahead.
Absolutely.
I have taken a loss on my first, couple loads. So.
But that's certainly not the norm. It's far from the norm.
Yeah, it's definitely far from the norm. And if you start with a loss, you're going down the wrong road.
Yeah, you don't start off in the profession with a loss. You can factor those things in over time because, as you know, cycles come and go. There are times when, boy, you got trucks all over the place to do this lane now, and 5 months from now, it's like, where are they, and what happened to these freight rates?
Yeah, pretty much how it is right now. So, freight rates are up 35% from 6 years ago, and I move a lot of freight in weird areas, and the guys that I normally use aren't there anymore. So I have to, play that to my advantage.
Not to get off track, Levi, but we're getting this from customers now, and that is, hey, gas rates have gone down. Why are freight rates going up? Can you give us all a quick explanation?
You want my opinion?
What's that?
I mean, I can give you my opinion. You know, it's
Absolutely.
all speculation with this industry, obviously, but so typically there's the seasonal drops. You know, January through February is usually a big dip as far as the amount of available freight in this country.
Overall?
Overall, yeah, that's correct. You know, if you look at the chart of, U.S. National Index of Freight, you'll see that it'll drop, seasonally. But actually last month it continued to rise. We're coming out of a recession. A lot of people don't want to believe that, but it's pretty obvious to everybody else, There's less truck drivers and there's more freight, and it's pretty simple. A lot of people don't want to admit it. They don't want to deal with it, but I know it's hurting us as well. I'm trying to hold my carriers to that standard. Say, hey, you guys are paying, 30% less on your fuel a year. It's one of your biggest expenses. I'm not going to keep paying these high rates. So I think that's a lot of people aren't trying to hold the carriers accountable from the broker standpoint. So it's something I'm trying to do as well. So to counteract that.
Okay. Anything else that you could add as far as giving a beginner, somebody who's been in the game for a month or two, what other type of advice or pointers can you give us, Levi?
Let me think on that.
You said at 3 months you felt comfortable that you understood what was going on, or you had a concept of what was going on. Is that when you, at what point did you feel like you were at a, financially stable? Where, hey,
you mean beyond the fear point?
No, just at what point did you feel financially stable? Hey, I'm actually starting to make money now.
I realized that, through speaking with other brokers and carriers and so on and so forth, that there's a lot of people out there, and I guarantee that no matter how your sales call went, no matter how bad you processed the load, so on and so forth, somebody did it worse than you.
Good point.
I mean, honestly, you get the sales calls like you were saying earlier, there's somebody worse than you. So do your best and just be positive. Tell people, hey, I'm new at this. I have no idea what I'm doing. Don't be afraid to admit it. So.
When you can admit something like that, boy, that just, what does somebody have to come back with? Whereas if you sit there and give excuses,
right.
Are you someone to sit around and listen to other people's excuses, Levi? Is that something that when you wake up in the morning, you think, boy, how many excuses can I listen to today?
I just really think about the excuses I have to pull out in the next couple hours.
I gotcha. Levi, can you stick around for a little Q&A?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, wonderful. And again, you've been in the industry 4 years. You've got a great track record. You came into LDI and you're already top 10 on the leaderboard. So guys, this is somebody who has at a young age gotten this profession down, certainly not to a T. I would venture to say that you still have a long way to go. Is that right, Levi?
We all do. So of course,
absolutely.
Everybody likes to learn.
Absolutely. Anyway, who's got the first question for Levi? Hit star 6. Hit star 6. Who's got the first question for Levi? Let us know who you are and where you're calling from.
I have a question. It's Grace from Jacksonville, Florida.
Welcome, Grace.
Hey, Grace.
Hi there. So I'm super duper new. I just gave in 20 new prospects today. I have a little bit of background from the trucking side. I've been dispatching. My husband's a driver, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh.
Could you talk to me about what the unknown is, being that we're new? Because that is where the fear derives from. There's something I don't know that they know, and they know I don't know it. What is it that I don't know that I will know maybe in 3 months?
You'll
What am I
definitely
so
know
afraid of? Because I am
how
a
to
little
quote
bit.
rates, Grace.
I'm a little afraid. Yeah.
You'll definitely
Well,
know
you'll
how to
kind of
quote
get a feel
rates.
for it. Yeah, you'll get a feel for the industry. It's really all how you interpret it, but you'll start to understand that when you look at a product or when you start looking at the economy, you'll start understanding what it's all about. How these pieces are interacting and how you can predict what companies are going to be shipping more in the next 6 months. How you can look at a product and see, and you take your computer mouse. I mean, there's 45 industries right there just in that computer mouse when you break it down. So it's really, I think, staying dynamic and staying open to the world around you. That's something you'll definitely come into.
Grace works or work for a dispatching company. Is that correct, Grace?
Yeah, I'm the dispatching company.
Okay, you're the dispatching company.
Yes.
So basically, Grace has dispatched drivers over the course of several years, Levi.
Well, that's great. I mean, you've got the advantage right there. You're in the industry. You are the driver. I mean, technically you're a broker now, but you have that trust from them immediately. So, don't downplay that in any way. I encourage you to, say that every time you get on the phone with these people. Hey, I'm new. I was on the trucking side. I want to come over here and do something a little bit more fun. Whatever you want to say, but that's a big advantage.
Okay.
Yeah, just letting them know that you're in the industry, that you've been in the industry.
Yeah.
Great advice, Levi.
Okay, thank you.
Who's next, guys? Next question for Levi. Hit *6.
Tom, I got one for him.
This is Tom from New York, Levi.
How you doing, Tom?
Good, yourself?
Oh, the phone's ringing.
I got a question for you. How many people have you got working out of your office?
Well, actually, since I switched companies, I only have 2 right now. My wife is over setting up the furniture at the new office, so just pretty much just been me and the wife for about 6 months now. So,
Nice.
Before the company I was with before, I had 10 people at my last office. So.
Meaning you had 10 people under you?
I had 10 people. We moved down to South Carolina from North Carolina to start this office in Charleston, and it was just my freight. So everybody we brought in kind of fed off the same piece of the pie.
Okay.
So we had 10 people in there. They were essentially dispatchers and sales at the same time. So.
Okay. But lately, for the last 6 months, it's just been you and your wife.
Yeah, it's like boot camp. Moving 300 loads a week it's pretty simple when you have 10 people helping you out. But when it's just you and someone else, it's a struggle. It's 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. All day, every day. So
yeah.
It's good training. I actually encourage a lot of people. When I started out, I went for these high volume clients. Whether it's low margin or not, it's good training. You start understanding, how to solve all these problems. That's what we're here for. So, the more freight you can move, the better you're going to get at moving freight. So, the past 6 months has been a little crazy.
Okay. Are you happy you made that move to LDI? And can you make some comparisons to what you had, compared to LDI's system, Levi?
I couldn't be happier with LDI. The technology is something that I really appreciate. Like I said before, it's underutilized in this industry. The place that I was before, the 3rd largest brokerage in the world. So while they had a great system, they didn't have the flexibility that LDI has. Each one of us is valued so highly by LDI because it's a little bit smaller. So we have that pull, we have that influence, and they bend over backwards for us. I couldn't be happier. That support staff is something that's really kind of cemented my place at LDI. When they have 6 people there who are dedicated to helping you, it's something that's really cool to me.
Awesome. Anything else, Tom?
Do you find it more profitable to have family working for you or outside people?
um, that's definitely a case-by-case basis. It sounds like a cop-out. The friends thing is, family's great in my opinion. You know, it's when you start making money, obviously it causes some problems, but usually family can work that out. It's the friends that I realize can really affect your life. You know, you start seeing people, you know, getting favored or whatever, and it starts interfering with your friendship. So family's great. I love working with family. I couldn't be happier working with my wife. You know, she quit her job to come here, and it's awesome.
Just recently, or your LDI switch?
Yeah, right at the switch, she actually quit her job to come help me. So
Okay.
it's really cool.
Okay. So basically, whether it's friends, family, whoever it is, there's pluses and minuses
Exactly.
with points on each application that you have to be aware of.
And I have a question. Ted, are you, you know, I don't know what you call them. I guess, is it employee or agent? Are they,
These are all agents
starting
you're
offices?
speaking to.
Okay. Are your agents starting their own offices and having, you know, sub-agents as well?
It's up to them.
But
It's
you
totally
have
up
some
to
people
them.
that do that.
When they go in that direction, I'm more than happy to assist them in any way that I can. But it's just like anything else. So you're you know, it's like you're walking into a dark room with your hands in front of you. It's just like when you know, sit down for the first time and make your first cold calls. But bringing in sub-agents is totally up to them.
Okay.
But I assist in every way I can. Who's next? Next question for Eli. My pardon.
This
Levi.
is Patrick in
Levi.
San Diego.
Patrick from San Diego. My apologies, Levi. This is Patrick
Oh, you're
from
right.
San Diego, Levi.
Hi, Levi.
How
How
are
you doing?
Pat?
I'm doing well.
I'm great,
Thank
man. Yeah, good.
you. My question is, I have experience in the driving side. I was a truck driver for a while, and really only pulled dry van and reefer. But coming into this side of the industry now, is there any specific sector you think new people should stay away from? I know each part, for instance, with reefer, produce is completely different than hauling, you know, Pepsi products or Budweiser. They all have their own problems. Produce, you have a hard time collecting because the receiver always wants to say, oh, nope, this lettuce was brown. We're not going to accept it. So you're sitting at the dock all day. But is there something, a sector that we really should stay away from in the beginning?
In the beginning, I'd stay away from materials and things of that nature. You know, anything that's going to be sold in bulk. You know, as they start selling it in higher quantities, they start losing profit margins. Prices go down, so you know, it comes out in our prices as well.
Can you give us an example?
Yeah, of course.
Levi?
You know, lumber. You know, coils, metal, things of that nature.
So building materials kind of.
Yeah, anything that they're using to make something else. You know, like, you know, basic materials, oils, petroleum products, even, you know, plastics, you know, cotton. I mean, anything that's just a very basic item that they're using to make something else, especially minerals.
Patrick, when you were driving, what did you haul the most of?
Actually, until I got injured, I was working for national carriers for the transportation side of National Beef.
Right, so they're out of Kansas?
Yeah, Liberal and Dodge City, Kansas.
Yeah, so
Was
were
it
you
swinging
doing
meat?
predominantly reefer?
I was reefer.
So you are very familiar with a lot of different reefer lanes, correct, Patrick?
Yes, and that's really what I wanted to stick with. I know a friend of mine says, oh, I'll go to flatbed and oversized. You'll make more money there, but
Nah,
I know the equipment for
don't listen
reefer.
to that.
I know the
That's
lanes.
nonsense. What do you say on that, Levi?
Do what you know. I mean,
Do what you know.
yeah.
Do what you know. Would you agree that every trailer type has its challenges, Levi?
Yes. Obviously, yeah. Obviously, flatbed's pretty much in crisis mode right now. But why would you want to get into a market that everybody else is already, you know, trying to take advantage of. So.
Right, and I don't know the equipment. A friend of mine works for Indian River, and I just learned you can't take a tanker over the 70. They changed the laws on that.
Yeah.
Through the Rockies and you know. So I didn't know that.
To answer your question, Patrick, stick with what you know.
All right.
I mean, that'll. Yeah. I mean, provided you get into that industry, you'll get the. You know, it's just like anything else. Do you want to reinvent the wheel or go at the wheel that you know the best?
Right. And I was planning on sticking with reefer. I did a lot of beef and produce, so I was probably going to be looking at those. But I know they have their own drawbacks too.
Every single industry has its drawbacks.
Yeah, when you get into
when
you get into a limited market such as, you know, specialized reefer freight, you know, swinging beef is hard to move. You well know. They're going to have a smaller carrier pool, and the carrier is going to know about those shippers. So, you know, the smaller that market becomes, the harder it's going to be for you to actually get the customer because they're going to depend on the carriers. They know the carriers know them. It's not a secret. So, you know, while it's good to have, you know, specialized markets such as that, it can have its drawbacks, just like Kev was saying.
Yeah, every industry has its drawbacks. I mean, just like Patrick was saying, oh, my friends told me to get into this. Well, chances are they're telling you that because they think that you know that it's an easier industry. Don't believe a word of it. Every single industry has its drawbacks, Patrick. Every single one. So stick with what you know.
All right. Thank you.
With what
I do have one other question.
Fire away.
And I may be jumping the gun here, but as you know, just coming into this industry, I know this, like anything else, it's all network oriented. And is there a way to stay in touch with, you know, Levi and other people on this call after this, besides the weekly calls? Just because, you know,
Patrick,
I am going to have questions coming up.
Patrick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm your trainer.
Okay.
Levi is joining us today as a favor.
Okay.
He's doing this to all of us as a favor. But this group of individuals is who you're connecting and collaborating with.
All right.
And we do appreciate you getting on here, Levi.
Oh, no problem. You guys have I was actually going to ask him the same thing, if I could be on this call weekly as well.
Absolutely.
It's good to have that. I like the, you know, the open form like that.
Absolutely,
really
Levi.
Cool. Yeah.
I will get you on. I'll get you on the email list.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Who's got the next question for Levi? Hit *6. Great questions, Patrick, by the way.
Thank you.
Next question for Levi. Hit *6. Who's next?
Hey, this is Tim in Corona.
Tim in Corona, Levi.
Tim, you got a lot of freight in that city.
I've got a question. I've got a few customers right now where I'm kind of stuck in the middle between them. They want to move, obviously, cheap freight or freight that's cheaper, you know, for them. Carriers want to do. I'm just trying to figure out which way to go is to get the carriers to come down or get the shipper to go up. I mean, they keep sending me loads all the time, and, you know, I give them quote back, and it's not quite working out, but they haven't given up on me giving them quotes. So, but eventually there's got to be a break point somewhere.
No, I understand. Let me ask you a couple questions.
Tim is a newbie, Levi.
Tim, how long have you been doing it?
So, started in October, so what, 3 months now?
Oh, yeah.
The end of October? Yeah.
Yeah, you're about to hit that point. So let me ask you a couple questions. Can you give me an example of one of these customers, just as far as what industry they're in, what they make?
So, well, one right now is they do animal feed.
Okay.
They ship like bulk animal feed, like 50-pound bags.
Okay.
Their truckloads are always full and always heavy. They're always up to like 44,000 pounds.
So,
So
real quick, so when they send you these loads, are you on a load list? Is it going to, a bunch of blind people, or are they sending it to, can you see the list of 300 people to send it to, or is it an individual email, directly to you?
yeah, it's an individual email that he sends out.
No, it's a bulk list, Tim.
It may be, yeah, I'm
There's
sure
200 people on his list, Levi.
I was going to say, I'm sure he contacts other people.
Absolutely.
And that's okay, So a couple things. There's nothing wrong with a bulk list. The way I see it, why not just post it? And it takes 5 minutes. You get a list, post it, leave it alone. Somebody will call you, maybe you'll get one here and there. I wouldn't worry about it too much. I wouldn't press on somebody like that. Animal feed, if it's specialized, is going to be pretty high priority and high value. But as a whole, animal feed is going to be a cheap industry. Like you said, they're shipping in bulk. But, you get, 30 or 40 of these smaller ones, you start just posting a list here and there. You'll get a couple here and there that are actually going to like you, that are going to work out. So, don't throw them away. Forward the email to a folder and give it to somebody else if you want to.
But Levi, is that where you want to stay?
No. So, like I said, the bulk lists aren't a problem. There that actually need something from you. Whether they need someone who's educated, someone who, gives great service, someone who's detail oriented, someone who they can call on a Friday at 5:30. When they call Schneider, guess what? They're getting put on hold. They call you, get them on the cell phone. So once you find that person you kind of click with, you'll know it immediately. Take a couple of cheap loads, so you can get at least a decent little profit out of it, and see where it goes. That's what I usually do.
These, as I call them, these are they're starter customers, Levi. Would you agree?
Exactly.
This is where we've all started.
Yeah.
The point to get beyond these, Tim, is to, what do? Get 3 new contacts every single day. If you don't do that, you're going to be stuck with animal feed. It's that simple. Would you agree, Levi?
Well, I do. One thing I wanted to touch on was, you guys were referring to these industries you want to stay away from. You can take any industry and you can find good shippers. Take plastics, for example.
Absolutely.
It's a huge industry, cheaper than all hell, but there are people who, run just in time, who need that freight immediately, whether it's a specialty product, whether it's a high value product, whether it's, a high volume even. You can take any industry and analyze it and get to that right little niche of that industry and find good shippers. Animal feed is a perfect example. It's a wide spectrum. You've got the cheap guys and you've got the really expensive guys. So
absolutely.
Any industry.
Absolutely. But you'll never find that out until you make calls and make inquiries.
Yeah.
These folks are not going to come to you, are they, Levi?
You just stay on the phone. It's really easy. There's so much freight out there. There's no reason to not be on the phone.
There is so much freight out there.
So much freight out there.
And if you're not getting it, it's because you're not getting on the phone and connecting with people. It's that simple.
Yeah.
But like you said, post them, as I tell everybody to, post all your loads. But by no means waste time or spend time on calling carriers to see if they'll do these loads for you. That's the last thing you do. All you do is post it and take calls on them. But you're always looking for more, for other contacts, for other prospects.
Just stay on the phone.
So, Tim, you have a choice. Do you want to keep moving cheap feed, or do you want to graduate to the sophomore team one day?
Yeah, we definitely want to graduate to the sophomore team.
Okay. All right.
Actually, I'm hoping to be on the senior team sometime soon.
Okay. Well,
skip it all.
It ain't going to happen if you don't connect with more and more prospects. Who's got the next question for Levi? It's star 6.
This is Greg in Joplin.
Greg from Joplin, Missouri. Levi.
Levi, what do you do when you just absolutely, when you've just exhausted all your efforts to find a truck for this customer you really want to move his load for?
Okay.
I mean, when you've just, I did this one, and I worked on this guy's load for like 11 days.
What was it?
And
Was it a van, flatbed?
It was a dry van picking up in way out in the middle of Nowhereville County, South Dakota, going to Victorville, California.
Oh, that's
Heavy.
a great lane.
Yeah.
So
He wasn't paying. It was paying cheap. And I'm like, man, I really want to move this load for this guy. I need this customer. I love this customer. I need this customer. I couldn't get it done. He wouldn't come up on the rate. My rate was too high. And what do you do? I mean,
Hey, Greg.
yeah.
If you don't mind me butting in, or do you think if you cover that load, he's going to be any different on the next load?
No, but I've proven. I mean, no, but I've proven myself to him.
Okay.
And he gave me that load for a reason.
Yeah,
because he knew it was
most
cheap
difficult one
and
he
hard.
had.
Huh?
Yeah, it was the most difficult one he had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of insight can you give Greg, Levi?
He was either testing you or using you. Sounds terrible to say. So
I mean,
obviously, if it took 11 days, he was wasting a lot of your time.
well, I mean, I was dedicated to. I mean, I wanted to. I really. It was the first load for him, and it was one of your referrals, Ted. And I talked to him, and even built rapport. He's from Norway, and I'm my whole family's from Norway, and we talked a lot, And so anyway, he sent me this load, and I looked at it, and I'm like, oh my. I mean, I knew it was going to be tough.
What's his first name, Greg?
Jan.
Yeah. So. Go on.
And I knew it was going to be tough, and I got 3 or 4
Well,
calls
anyway,
on it.
go ahead and give him your answer, Levi.
Yeah.
Okay. So as far as finding carriers, I move a lot of. I've had experience with moving freight into or out of strange areas. The carrier is going to end up being your customer. After 5, 10, 12 years, whatever. There's more freight than there are trucks. Hence, the trucks are not going to be more important as you experienced. So it's really about advertising your freight in the right way. Giving these carriers as much attention as you would a customer. Attracting them as much as possible. So, when you're posting these loads, put accurate data in there. Put comments in the comment section about, the hours, the whatever. Offer them free coffee. I do that once a month. For about a week, I put on my loads. Every driver gets a free coffee if they move a load. Never had anyone ask for it. But it's all about that perception. These carriers are going to end up being your customers. So, you gotta attract them. Give them the after-hour support they need. Make sure that they have all the information. And when you're looking for these guys, as far as posting loads on load board and searching for trucks, you got to take the chance out of it. So, when you're looking for a carrier, you pull up your custom match. You got 300 matches. The first things you want to look at are the deadhead to the destination, their home base state, whether or not they have any experience with our company, the type of equipment they're running. If they're doing a backhaul, guess what? You just hit a home run.
Right.
So a lot of people will just end up calling the closest truck. 9 times out of 10, the closest truck isn't gonna be the one that you need. That truck's gonna be 120 miles away. So it's being smart about it when you're looking for these carriers and maintaining that perception that you care about them, because we all should care about these guys. If it wasn't for them,
they
we
do all
wouldn't
the
have a
heavy
job.
lifting.
That's right. We all sit on our ass, but they do all the hard work.
They do all the heavy lifting. Yep.
Do you, hey, Levi, do you ever go back to your customer and say, I can't move this load because of the rate?
When I first started, I lost a few customers doing that. When you're really fresh, and you don't have the revenue, I know it's hard to justify taking a loss. If you don't see opportunity there, don't. It's always better to just be honest with them. If you screw up or you underquote or whatever, just be honest with them. It may hurt your relationship in the immediate, but you never know. That person may appreciate that honesty. If you come to them right when your truck drops off, they may appreciate that. It's a case by case. But when you're first starting out, man, it's really hard to take a loss. I understand. But as you gradually, gain more customers and get more revenue and a steady flow of cash, you just take the loss. It comes out in the wash. So.
Right. Okay. Appreciate it. You helped me out a lot.
Okay. Who's got the next question for Levi? It's star 6.
I got one. This is Ben in Queen Creek.
Ben in Queen Creek, Levi, Arizona.
Hey, Levi, going back to like what Tim was saying in Corona about these email lists. I got an email list yesterday from a customer that I've moved probably 6 or 7 loads for, probably more like 5 loads. And her rates have gone down worse than what they already were before. I mean, do you post every single load up? I mean, she's got 5 loads on here that are $1 a mile. Or do you just not even worry about it?
Like Ted was saying, it's the starter customers. Typically what we used to do is we just give them to our new people and let them work it and see how they do. You don't post every load. If it's bottom dollar and you look at the data that you can see, as far as history and stuff, it's just not worth your time even to post it. Don't post it. $1 a mile. I don't care where you are in this country right now. It's really hard to get a truck for $1 a mile.
Well, and that's my point, is because what I've been doing, she gave me a load list yesterday. 25 loads are on it. And out of those 25 loads, I think there was 4 loads that were maybe $1.35 and one that's $1.45, and the rest of them are $1.15 and below. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to waste my time posting this up because I'm going to be answering the phone all day long and not have time to go after the good stuff.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, if I sat here and posted everything coming up that I have, I picked up 2 more email sheets or email load lists from customers yesterday, and it's kind of the same scenario. You look at them and you're kind of like, wow, are these even worth posting?
What's the product? Because that's usually how it all falls back to this. What's the product?
Farm materials. Levi.
Yeah, this is like fence posts, and then the other ones are steel studs. I picked that one up yesterday.
Yeah. It's a customer. She's probably got 200 people on her email list. So, but yeah, use your discretion, Ben. That's all you can do.
And that's what I've been doing.
You've moved a few loads with this customer.
Right.
Use your discretion. But
keep it around. Don't tell her to go away. Don't send her on her way. Keep it around, because every now and then you'll see it and be like, 5:30 on a Friday. Hey, I need a truck to go from California to New York. Guess what? You just made $4,000 just from keeping the emails.
And I don't
never let them go. Yeah.
I don't ever let them go. I mean, I just post them up, the ones that I think that should be posted, and I've honestly been, like, one week, maybe 2 weeks. They'll come up when she sits there long enough and realizes she needs to move this load. But that just seems to be the last couple of weeks, that seems to be my headache. I mean, I have picked up a couple new, customers that'll send out the daily emails, but then again, you look at the rates and you're like, wow,
Ben, we've all been there. You're still on the freshman team, buddy.
Oh, no, I know. That's why I'm just getting insight, because, I just want to make sure that I'm taking the right steps, and I do as much as possible to eliminate being tied up on this cheap trade, and I want to get the good stuff.
The more folks you connect with in the marketplace, the quicker you're going to advance. The quicker you're going to advance. It's that simple.
I still want to reiterate, that end user is really what it's all about.
Of the freight
when
itself.
You're looking at the of the freight itself. Who's going to use that product when it hits the dock? It's really important to analyze. So.
And whether they should be pursued as well as a new customer. Because the end user may not be your customer on the load. Correct, Levi?
That's correct. That's how I got one of my larger customers, was exactly that. So.
Yep. Levi, appreciate your time today. Love to have you join our calls here in the future, but appreciate you being our guest today. Anybody have who's got the last question for for Levi today?
Come on, Teddy.
My apologies, Levi.
You're fine.
My apologies. Who's got the last question for Levi today? Hit *6. Okay, looks like we're all done for the day, Levi. Appreciate you appreciate you getting on with us today, Levi.
I appreciate the opportunity. It's been a long time since I've done anything like this. So it's good practice.
Were you ever asked to be the guest?
Once before, but it's similar to doing a presentation via Skype for any sales call. I haven't done a sales call in, sounds terrible, nobody do this, but I haven't done a sales call in about a month. I've been so busy. So it's good to have the practice.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Just don't tell my group that, because I tell them to get on the phone every single day.
Well, I have people calling for me now. So.
Exactly. Anyway, guys, you know the drill. You have any questions involving selling, marketing, the office number here, 626-309-9141. Any questions involving our state-of-the-art and proprietary LDI freight system, same number, 626-309-9141. Levi, pleasure having you on today. Thank you so much for giving us your insight on how to become and stay successful in this profession and this industry. Thank you so much. God bless you, Levi. We will talk to you down the road. And for all of you folks, take care. We'll talk to you all soon. Thanks.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
You've just taken a tremendous step forward by watching and applying my Tuesday conference call highlight. Do you desire to earn and learn with our top freight team and Christian-based office? Yes? We're searching for a self-starter who's serious, motivated, and ready to take action right now. Is that you? Go to tedkeysonline.com/contacts and enter your contact details. We provide top-notch freight agent sales training to you. Then you deliver those same skills with confidence to the freight industry marketplace. I'll talk to you soon.